you all to kind of bear with me a little bit tonight. My name is Kimberly Snyder. Welcome to the 75th Annual Founders Day dinner. I am not the president of the PTA Council. Our president had an unfortunate family emergency today, and she cannot be here tonight. So I am going to kind of wing this evening and step in and try to do the best that I can to get us through the evening and go through these notes as best as I can. So we're going to begin the evening with our flag ceremony, and we have Brennan who's going to come up. And we're going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance. So Brennan, would you like to lead us in that?
Will the audience please rise? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Brennan is from Troop 544, so thank you, Brennan, for coming tonight. Next, we are going to have the national anthem by Abby Snyder. So if you'd like to sing, feel free, or please rise. So today during dinner, we're going to have some music from Tremper's band, ensemble and soloists are going to be playing. Just kind of in the background while we're having dinner. Kathy Ripley is here directing, and she's also going to be joining in one of the quintets tonight. We have a local author, Roxanne Cranstover, over here in the corner. Wave, Roxanne. She is author of Millie Mae Children's Book Series, so make sure that you check her out. She visits local schools, and she'll do presentations for you if it's something that you're interested in on anti-bullying. The silent auction is going to remain open throughout dinner, so we're going to release the tables, in separate order, and then so you can go and bid while people are eating, and then when you're finished eating, you can go back over there some more. 7:15 on the dot is when we're hoping that we're going to close the auction. Then we have Ms. Brown from the Hope Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse is going to be speaking this evening, followed by our scholarship presentation. We're going to have a special 75th anniversary PTA video, and then we're going to have our PTA awards for parents and some projects that we're doing with the PTA locally. Thank you to Jason Ripkus from Kenosha Community Media for videotaping tonight. And without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead. I'm not sure how we're going to start with the tables for dinner, but I think dinner is ready. So, Patricia, do you want to go ahead and do that? Did everybody bid on what they wanted to bid on? Okay, well, good luck to everybody. As part of the PTA in the schools, we advocate for children and their futures. Our guest speaker this evening is Ms. Guida Brown from the Hope Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse. She has also been an advocate for children with implementing the Children's Safe House, working as Executive Director of Women's and Children's Horizon. And now her position is the Executive Director of the Hope Council. Please welcome Ms. Guida Brown.
And I also can't do this with the sunglasses on because I'll never be able to see anything. I'm so grateful to be here tonight celebrating the 75th annual PTA Founders Dinner. And I couldn't ask for a more perfect theme, heroes around me. I told my sister that I was going to wear this outfit, and she said, no, don't do that.
But oh, I am. And it's not because I really think that I'm Wonder Woman. Well, I kind of do. I admit that I had to look up what Diana of Themyscira's superpowers are. And I do believe I have some of them. I have superhuman strength and durability. Maybe not physical strength, but emotional strength for sure. And I don't have superhuman speed or flight, reflexes, or agility like she does. But I do have enhanced senses like smell and hearing. And I have eyes in the back of my head, of course. So I'm checking off enhanced vision too. And while I don't have divine origins like Wonder Woman does, coming from Zeus the way she did, my mom was pretty special. And growing up in a home where a person suffered the disease of addiction, as my father did, gave me some interesting superpowers. Wonder Woman has increased empathy. And I don't claim that, but I do claim increased discernment. I'm an exceptionally good judge of character. I also claim an overabundance of awareness. I am what we in the field call hyper-aware of my surroundings. That's really helpful for a hostage situation, but it may not be as helpful as, say, Wonder Woman's empathy is. So yeah, I'm a superhero, and so are all of you. Every person who cares for and about children is a superhero, even when you may not think you are. Please indulge me while I tell you how I grew up. To wake up for school every morning, my mom, St. Lena, would scream my name up the steps. She did eventually buy me an alarm clock, but this is the memory that's seared into my brain. I would then trudge down the steps to immediately begin a fight with my older sister, who was invariably wearing my clothes. When I got home from school, my mom was at work as a custodian for Kenosha Unified, but my dad was home. This could be good or bad, dependent upon what my dad had been drinking earlier in the day. My dad wasn't abusive. He simply had a disease that affects the whole family in a negative way. Oftentimes, I would stay up way past my bedtime to wait until my mom would come home from work before I would go to bed, just so that I could see her. So what's my point? At the Hope Council on Alcohol and Other Drug Abuse, we provide supervised visitation services, a safe place where non-custodial parents can visit and become acquainted with their children. For anyone who's worked in the nonprofit world, you'll understand that we need to be experts in many areas, or at least well-rounded jacks of all trade. I recently posted a meme on the Hope Council's Facebook page, one that I confirmed is based in science, which indicates that children need a minimum of 8 touches a day to feel connected to a parent figure. And if the child is going through a particularly challenging time, that number increases to 12 times a day. Touch. This isn't even a full-on hug. It can be a touch on the hand, the head, tucking in the tag on the back of the shirt. But hugs are nice too. And so when you give a hug, make it matter. Make it a heart-to-heart hug and count to 3. Children also need one meaningful eye-to-eye conversation each day with a parent figure. 1. That's not superhuman, but it brings about superhuman results. Our children desperately need us unlike ever before because society is different than it ever was before. And the meme also points out the 9 most important minutes in a child's day. The 3 minutes after he wakes in the morning, the 3 minutes after he arrives home from school, and the 3 minutes before he goes to bed. Far too many of our children today are growing up in trauma. But what's different from the trauma that I grew up in is that they don't even know it. Trauma has become an ordinary part of their very existence, and they don't realize that it's not normal. Therefore, rather than normalizing negatives, we need to help children to acknowledge them for what they are and teach them resilience to overcome them. Our agency is currently working on a curriculum for a resilience class, so I know a little something about this too. The 7 C's of resilience are competence, confidence, connection, character, contribution, coping, and control. Our children need our help so they can be resilient, because resilience allows for protection against addiction. I recently presented an anti-vaping, anti-marijuana, anti-alcohol message to 4th and 5th graders. 4th and 5th graders. For the most part, the children were very receptive and appropriate, but there were some who told me that I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with smoking marijuana, and vaping is safer than smoking cigarettes. As with any great prevention message, we talked about how to say no. How do you say no to your friends who ask you to do something you know you shouldn't be doing? Can you use your parents as an excuse to say no? How would your parents and teachers feel if you were smoking weed behind the garage? What if your parents told you that they were going to drug test you? Now, I'm not suggesting anyone drug test their children. If you feel as though you need to drug test your child, the horse is already out of the barn. And if that's the case, the Hope Council has services to help: assessment, recovery coaching, education, and support groups. And when all else fails, we do have the best tests available. I am suggesting, however, that you threaten to drug test your children. Not to make them behave, but to give them an out. Dude, I can't smoke weed. My mom says she's gonna drug test me. We have to show children that we're watching and that we care. So I'm talking to this class of 4th graders. And in what is one of the saddest moments of my 10-year history at the Hope Council, a student raised her hand to ask a question. Now, I have to tell you that this was November 1st, and that the student's outfit struck me as out of the ordinary because she was dressed as Harry Potter on the day after Halloween. This little girl raised her hand and she said, "What if my parents don't care?" So my message to you tonight is that you are indeed all superheroes, and our children need you to help them make good decisions. They need you to talk to them about right and wrong. They need you to correct their behavior because they're getting mixed messages that what they want to do is always okay and worthy of support. They need you to tell them that vaping isn't safe for their developing brains. Sure, those students were right that vaping may be safer for adults than smoking cigarettes is, but it's not safe by any stretch of the imagination, and it's certainly not safe for young people. For the forming brain, anything younger than 18 years old, but really before 25, because brains aren't done being formed until 25 years of age, vaping leads to addiction. Smoking leads to addiction. Alcohol use leads to addiction. Marijuana use leads to addiction. We can quibble about what a gateway drug is, but the fact is that any drug on a forming brain leads to addiction. Even prescription painkillers prescribed by doctors, taken as prescribed, are exceedingly dangerous on a forming brain. And so our children need you to be a superhero every single day, explaining to them what you expect from them, explaining to them what you will tolerate from them, explaining to them what the consequences of not following the rules will be, explaining to them why these conversations matter, and following through on what you've said consistently every time. And they also need you to walk the talk. Don't model what you don't want. Don't wear clothing that advertises alcohol and other drugs, including tobacco or nicotine use, unless you expect our children to believe that alcohol and other drug use is acceptable. Don't make jokes or laugh at jokes about people who are impaired due to substance use, not in front of them, not about those on TV or in movies, and not on social media. Our children are watching. Don't demonize or add to the stigma of those who have substance use disorders. Addiction is a chronic, progressive, lethal disease, just like cancer and diabetes. Don't imply otherwise. You need to be a trustworthy person so that if your child needs help or support, he feels safe coming to you about his concerns for himself or others. And don't become a statistic yourself. Don't model over drinking just because that's what others in Wisconsin do. Don't drink and drive. Don't smoke or vape. Don't misuse or share your prescriptions. Caring for children is hard work. It's superhero work. And the Hope Council is here to help. We provide education and prevention programming. We provide programming for those who are negatively affected by a loved one's substance use disorder, for children as well as for adults. We provide assessments to help determine how far along the problem is. But we aren't parents or teachers, and we don't see the children every school day. You are the superheroes. Thank you.
Thank you, Guida. Speaker, you are. I graduated with Guida, so we went to school together. So I'm so happy that you came. This is the scholarship portion of the evening, and we have 2 awards that we're giving out this year to Abigail Snyder from Tremper High School, and also Ruth Dagfall from Indian Trail. And I have Mr. Kellner here to present the award to Abigail, and Mrs. Bascaron will present the award to Ruth Dagfall.
Hi, my name is Matt Kellner. I'm a counselor at Tremper High School for Abby Schneider, and I'm here to present the scholarship to her. I was asked to say a brief statement about Abigail, and it's kind of hard after I do get to know a lot of information as being a counselor. So I'll kind of like point out some important things that I really enjoyed about working with Abby. First of all, Abby's main goal that I've kind of found out is that she wants to make life better for the people around her. She's decided to study math and science and STEM and to become a civil engineer with the belief that she can make our communities a better place for everyone living in them. I know that she's very dedicated to her education. A little known fact, if she finishes this year perfect, it'll be 10 years of perfect attendance. And to me, that's kind of probably the most amazing fact that I've seen. Going through all the students we've seen, I know I cannot say I've been perfect at attendance in the 10 years of even my job lately, so that's amazing to me. Second, I know that she's very involved in the community in many ways just to make it a better place, working with elementary children at the Kenosha Museum, mentoring students with music at Lance, even having her math club start a tutoring session for high school students using math. And by the way, that was kind of one of our biggest needs. And I'm not quite sure how many students show up, but I know I sit in my office with students that look for help, and a lot of them would really enjoy the peer help instead of adult help at certain times. So I thought these were great ideas to make it better for everybody involved. Even tonight sitting at the table, I found out that she played the national anthem, I believe, on her dad's trumpet, which isn't even her normal instrument. So these little facts that I kind of pick up about her, I just think are unique. When I think back to her 10th grade year when we kind of first met, I guess my impression was a student that was always beyond her years and more mature than many of her peers. She really didn't seem to care about what was cool or who the cool people were, mainly about following her education and the things that she enjoyed, which included a lot of science, math, and music. And I'm not quite sure the order of that. I think she would have to kind of tell us, but I would say those were her passions in life. And then, most things that I read from her really talk about just how she wants to make the community better for everybody around her in all the ways that she can. And so I would like to bring up Abby Snyder and present her with the scholarship. from the PTA this year.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mrs. Bhaskaran from Indian Tail Academy and High School. I teach math. I'm Ruth Dankol's math teacher. I have known Ruth since a little kid. I used to carry her around when her mom brought her, the other siblings to swimming class. I knew her since then. I didn't know I'm going to stand here and introduce her to this award. And this year, in the beginning of my calculus class, she's in my calculus class. Also, I told her, you know, when you win this award, I would like to come and introduce you, just like I did for Melody and Andrew, the twins, siblings. So it happened, Mrs. Harvey, her counselor, couldn't come, and guess who was here? You got stuck with me. I even asked her friends to say something naughty about her so I can say that. Nobody had anything to say. So clean, I don't know what to do. Ruthie, you are going to be our valedictorian. You are our valedictorian. You are best in running. You are best in music. You are such a humble person. When I asked her, all these kids were trying to take East School's classes and beat her. I pulled her aside and I said, could you please take some East School classes? When she didn't listen to me, I called her mom on the phone and said, could you make her take some East School classes so she can keep up her rank 1? No, this is what she said to me. If God has plans to be number 1 for me, that will happen. If somebody else has to take it, that will happen to that child. I'm not going to run this race to beat somebody. I'm going to be myself, and this is all I can do. What else can I say about Ruby? She's the best. She's number 1. Now, yeah, she, it's given to her. This child is awesome. She never came to me to retake a test, ask for help, or anything like that. Just like that. Scores perfect A's in every single one of them. There is no flaw. Whatever you want to do in your life, you want to be a veterinarian, to achieve child, God bless you. Congratulations.
They told me I should probably say something, I guess. Or at least my mom kind of wanted me to. I guess I'm really grateful for this this award that you guys have given me, and I'm sure Abby is too. I guess I'm just going to tell you guys what I told the PTA when I applied for the scholarship. Someone once said the most advanced technology capable of transforming the life of a child with a disability has a cold nose and a warm heart. Many children suffer from disabilities that make getting a good education and a normal life hard. But everyday research and experience proves that animals can provide emotional and physical support for kids. Dogs help children with diabetes by detecting their sugar levels. Sheep, dogs, and goats calm kids with autism or anxiety. Riding horses allows children with spina bifida to develop muscles to sit up and even walk. And fluffy pets aid those with bipolar disorders to find a happier balance. Moreover, after traumatic situations, golden retrievers are brought in for emotional therapy. Additional history shows that animals have precious relationships with humans, helping even the strongest of us. In my sister's classroom, she has a bearded dragon, which she to teach students about responsibility and care. Whether they had a disability or not, all children have hard times where they could use a friend, someone who loves them unconditionally. Before stressful tests, animals have been known to calm students and help them focus. I have seen it in my own life with my dog, who has been there for me through the good and the bad. I will attend Wheaton College and try to become a veterinarian, and I hope to support children who are partner with them to care for the animals that watch over them so well. I want to give animals homes benefiting both them and the families. I would love to participate in programs that bring veterinarians to schools, educating students about the special roles of animals in their lives. And animals change children's lives every day. As a veterinarian, I could be a part of that change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Both of them are being awarded $1,500 scholarships each. So thank you everybody for donating, because this is from your proceeds. This is what we're doing for the students. So hopefully next year we'll get more applicants and we'll be able to give out more awards. So thank you.
With it being our 75th anniversary, we were thinking through the fact that there's so many people who have brought us to this day. So many people who aren't here today, who've gone on, but they really impacted all these children throughout the years. This scholarship that we've been given tonight has been given since 1957. And I was trying to calculate how many students. We only have through 2002 in that book, but I think there might be 175 students who have received it, and there may be about $85,000 that has been given over the years. So with that, we wanted to put together a video just kind of representing, one, what Founders Day is, who the founders are, and then just talking to some of the people who have impacted or have experienced what Founders Day and PTA Council is about. So it's only about 12 minutes, so it doesn't have there's so much more you guys could have heard, but hopefully it will work.
The original PTA was founded in the last decade of the 1800s. Historians would later call it the Gilded Age, with the new industrial revolution parading its gold and glitter and fancy inventions. The first four-wheel vehicle, electricity, cola, QWERTY keyboards, and of course, movies. Just head to the Chicago World Fair and you'd have proof of just how wonderful this new world was going to be. But Alice McClellan Burney, Phoebe Hearst, and Selena Sloan Butler saw a different world. Children as young as 4 and 5, and sometimes even 2 or 3, were working horrendous hours for pennies a day. And if it wasn't the dangerous factory work that was putting them at risk, then there was diseases like measles, mumps, rubella, polio, smallpox. And 30% of the nation's deaths were children under 5. Then there was life on the streets with little to no supervision. Schooling? Well, if they got to go at all, they rarely went beyond the 5th grade. And these women desperately wanted to save them. Alice Burney said, "Congress was in session at the time, and I knew how its doings were telegraphed to all parts of the earth, and how eagerly such messages were read. And then, like a flash, came the thought, why not have a national Congress of Mothers?" And that's how it started. Phoebe Hearst, wealthy philanthropist, gladly signed on to help. And soon Selena Sloan Butler followed their lead. Sadly, some states still require segregation, but with the National Congress of Mothers' full support, Selena started the Congress of Colored Parents and Teachers. In time, the two groups merged as one and would be called the National Parent-Teacher Association. Their goal? To help parents learn about the needs of their children and to raise greater awareness across the country about child welfare, protecting them from exploitation. At their first convention, Alice said she'd be satisfied if 50 mothers showed up, even 25. She must have been very satisfied. 2,000 people came, mostly mothers, but also fathers, teachers, laborers, and legislators. It became a movement across the country, changing how we think about children. Wisconsin joined the association in 1910, and thanks to Meta Irene Tremper, the KUSD PTA Council was founded soon after. It has made a difference not only in the lives of children, but also in the community and in the men and women who have served through it.
My first son started at Harvey Elementary. It was like 1977, and the kindergarten teacher asked for volunteers, and of course I was ready, willing, and able to volunteer. And the next thing I knew, the next year I was treasurer of the PTA. The principal at the time said, "You seem like you would be a good treasurer," and from then on, I was on the board here, and it was great.
I think the biggest reason that I got involved was when I had the opportunity, I had the time, and also there was a need to, I think, use my skill. At the time I was back doing video production, and I know that a lot of the events that went on at the school, it was very beneficial for the parents to have DVDs made of the programs that were done, and so I volunteered my time. Like, that was one of the first things that kind of drew me to being involved in the PTA. And you look at yourself and say, what skills, what can I do?
You can connect families and parents to the school that their child is at, and research has shown that that really makes a difference in the life of a child's success in education.
I think it helped me become a better principal. I think it helped me understand the power of teamwork, of working together, and it helps you become a better parent yourself. I had 3 children, going principaling and a wife at home, and it helped me be a better parent for my kids.
I got involved in Reflections when my oldest daughter came home from school with a slip of paper about Reflections, and she sounded excited to try it. I think that first year she tried photography and visual arts and literature categories, and that was really fun to see what creative things she came up with, because I'll be honest, my oldest is not one who tends to like to do creative things. She loved going to the banquet, and I kind of thought that was the end of it until the next year when the piece of paper came home again and we started all over again. They decided to try all 6 categories.
What I loved most was when I look back about networking with other PTAs, getting ideas about what you could do, sharing ideas, and actually advocating. I can remember there were a couple of policies in the early 90s that PTA was really advocating for on a state level. And when you would call your representatives, you would say, "Oh, you're one of those PTA people." And it made you feel good because it made you feel like you were part of a much bigger picture that really, really went out and looked out for the welfare and the benefits of families and children.
Way back, this was like 1985, and because of where Kenosha is situated, we are prone to gang activity from Racine to the south of us and Waukegan to the north of us. And the gangs are always recruiting, and they were recruiting at the time, and they were hitting on middle school kids. And I went myself to the mayor's office to petition for help. We need help from the police department. And it was crickets, nothing. I went back to the McKinley PTA, and there were 12 of us that went 2 weeks later to the mayor's office, and immediately we got action. And it started the 4-person gang squad for the gang prevention squad for the Kenosha Police Department. But it really developed a bonding, because at the time we were like silos, separate entities. The public schools are here, the police department was here. There wasn't much of a connection. But I think in my heart of hearts, not only did we with McKinley PTA start the gang prevention squad, but we started a positive relationship. And I couldn't have done it without the PTA.
I probably served on the legislative committees as well. That really was near and dear, and speaking at the school board meetings and speaking up in Madison when I was on the state board, and just because I knew that it was going to be for all the children, not just the children at Harvey or in Kenosha. It was all children.
I'm the son of a high school science teacher and a newspaper editor. So education and learning was always something that was drilled into me. If I ever had a question of my parents, the refrain would be, look it up. To that, and we had lots of encyclopedias, to which kids probably don't even know what those are nowadays. But and in my upbringing, in my household, my mom gave so much. She gave so much to teaching her kids. She gave so much to the kids, to after school, for volunteering above and beyond. Seeing her give so much and seeing the respect that was given back to her from the kids that she was teaching, and not just teaching, but really impacting their lives. I guess in a way, my involvement in this school was an attempt to affect children in that way. I wasn't able to be in a teaching position, but yet I could be considered the school father, being there all the time. Building those relationships with the kids and seeing the excitement in their eyes when they recognize you is something that, that's the reason that we all do what we do.
Friday nights, I swear we had 850 kids in that gym, and dads would come in and help us. And after school, I'm out there on the sidewalk, and here's this dad next to me. So I get broken up thinking about it, but yeah, dads are there.
At Bradford, when I was at Bradford, we had a craft fair there annually for many, many years. The proceeds that we received from the craft fair, many times we donated materials and supplies for students at the school, and we also helped support some before and after homework help.
We held a rally at one time in 1987, and over 400 parents turned out for that, and the cause was quality education. We did not want to see any cuts to teacher salary or teachers or assistants or any of the programs, so we were all very involved in that.
I actually have some really fun memories of them being recognized by the council too, because I think it made them very proud to stand in front of an audience and in front of the entire school board. Kira started going out and shaking hands before it was time to do that. I think she was in kindergarten or first grade, and she didn't know what was happening and was just told they'd be shaking hands, and just all of a sudden started walking around shaking everybody's hand.
I think it's amazing, any organization or group of people that is still powerful after 75 years and still going strong. Kids need more help than ever.
Parents can make a difference by joining together and being one voice for the children that can't speak for themselves.
It's supporting our kids is huge. And that doesn't stop when they get older. It makes you just want to keep doing it with the next generation.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for putting that together. Very beautiful presentation for our 75th anniversary. Now we move on to the awards for Advocate of the Year, Outstanding Parent and Guardian of the Year, and Project of the Year. And please bear with me, I hope I pronounce everybody's names right. For Advocate of the Year, we have Ursula Perry from Harvey Elementary. We have a nice award plaque for you.
Thank you. I'd like just a couple of words. I'd just like to say we're all here because we're passionate about what we do for kids. We're all here to support them and their families on their journeys. And there are some amazing parents at Harvey School. I appreciate the opportunity to serve alongside them and our phenomenal staff. So thank you for the nomination, and thank you for what you do every day for kids. We appreciate it.
Okay, the next award is for Crystal Prince. And she's from Nash Elementary. Okay, thank you. Next Advocate of the Year award goes to Kelly Gerke. Kelly's with Whittier Elementary.
Wow, thank you. It's been a long years. I've worked with Epsola and now Whittier. It's been a fun time, and thank you. This is my last year, so this is a great honor. Thanks.
Now we move on to Outstanding Parent Guardian. First award goes to Lisa Reyes with Harvey Elementary. Outstanding Parent Award goes to Emily Gerstung. So we all knew you were outstanding.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. And next award goes to Nicole Lawler with Whittier Elementary. Hi. Yeah. Nicole couldn't be with us tonight, so someone's accepting for her. The next Outstanding Parent Guardian Award goes to Emily Meyer from Whittier. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. We have an Outstanding Parent Award for Patricia Mason with Mahone Middle School. Thank you. And the next Outstanding Parent Award goes to Kimberly Snyder, who is without her, we wouldn't have this evening. So I can't thank her enough. We can't thank you enough. So thank you. You want to say something?
I just need to.
I need more time.
Okay. She needs more time with the silent auction, so we'll let her go. And the next Outstanding Parent Award goes to Amy Tots with Tremper High School. Here you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't know what this project of the year is, so hopefully the award winner will maybe come up and tell you what the project of the year was. Unfortunately, Barbara's not here, so we have project of the year is 4K playground equipment with Nash Elementary School. So if you could tell us a little bit about the award.
So I guess as all of you know, when the KUSD did the audit, they audited our playgrounds for 5 to 12 years. And so a lot of us at our schools started fundraising and planning, trying to build playgrounds for the kids in 4K. And so we decided as a PTA and as a committee, well, if we're going to make playgrounds accessible to everyone at our school, then let's really make it accessible to everyone. And so we fundraised and worked really hard to get some handicap accessible pieces and just to make sure that all kids can play and play safely and socialize. And so that's what we did the last year. And so we worked pretty hard, but now everyone at Nash, no matter what their ability, has playground equipment. So, and thank you to my team.
And I do have one more Advocate of the Year going to Keith Weinstein at Mahone Middle School.
And I will accept it on his behalf. He's at a basketball game, champion game, so go Mahone.
And I think that's going to kind of wrap up.